Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we have another signing video coming up as Ralph Holley has re-signed with the Toronto Argonauts following a short stint in the NFL. As he's returning to the Argos, as he had went and spent a little bit of time with the Cleveland Browns in the offseason. But he was waived as part of as the final roster cuts after training camp. Comes back, signs in Toronto, and he had done pretty well in his 16 games played. He had 22 defensive tackles, 8 sacks in 16 games. Did very, very well there. Ralph Holley is generally a younger player. He's only 26 years old. Out of West Bloomfield, I believe that's Michigan, as he went to school in Western Michigan. 6 feet, 285 pounds, decent sized guy. And he had played college Western Michigan from 2017 through 2021. And in there, generally, you notice his sack. So in his first year, he doesn't get any sacks. Second year, 7 sacks. Third year, 4.5. And then his fourth year, 3 sacks. And then he goes to 6 sacks back in his 2021 season, which he got those sacks in only 6 games. Keep in mind, his 3 sacks he got in 6 games in 2020. So generally, he had done very, very well there. He had played a little bit in the USFL. He played for the Philadelphia Stars in 2022 and 2023. Comes to Toronto, has a good year there in 2024. And goes up, tries his shot kind of at the NFL a little bit in 2025. Doesn't work out. Signs back. So 2026 season, Ralph Holley joins the defensive line for the Toronto Argonauts. I really like this move for Toronto. This is they had lost a lot. Not that they had lost all of the great pieces that they have there, but they had lost a lot with the loss of Jared Brinkman and Jake Ceresna. And so this was kind of a key piece. Not that they was bad without them. Still had Derek Parrish, who we had on the channel. So you guys should check out their player interview that we had with Derek Parrish. But he had still done very, very well there. But it just wasn't as kind of that cohesive defensive juggernaut of a force that it was the year prior. I mean, we're talking about the 2024 Argonauts that are Grey Cup champions versus the 2025 Argonauts, which is not where a lot of Toronto fans were hoping for them to be. And so Toronto's in a bit of an interesting spot. We're probably going to have a video coming out to some point about potential coaching options there, as Ryan Dinwiddie had headed over to the Ottawa Red Blacks. But in general, I think that Toronto kind of wants to, ideally, if they can, get back on track. And so this signing, I think, certainly puts them in the right direction. So what do you think about this signing, Rick?
So here's the thing is with this signing, if I remember correctly, he did very well. So if you add him with Parrish and Chatfield.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of who the other, give me one second. I'm trying to think of who their other.
Lanier, or is it Williams? They have Lanier
just
and Williams,
because
right?
I'm thinking their defensive linemen aren't re-signed yet. So I'm curious if let me go back here to the defensive line. So that has to mean that maybe Lanier doesn't come back. Christmas probably doesn't come back. Cox never played because he's the one that got injured in the non-playing injury.
So the big question is,
played 10 games.
The big question is with Ralph Holley coming back is kind of who he's surrounded by. As you said, are Derek Parrish and Chatfield both under contract or?
Yes, they are. So it's just a matter of finding out who that extra fourth defensive line is.
Because you got Chatfield and Parrish, that's your bookends right there. Ralph Holley, he's going to play D-tackle. He's going to be in the mix there. So the question is, who's going to be the second guy in the interior?
So
is it going to be somebody from last year, or is it going to be new talent brought in?
If you use, and I'm just going to use Holley's stats, in his last season with Toronto. So he had 8 sacks with Chatfield 7 and Parrish's 5.
Yeah.
That's almost like 20 sacks between 3 people. Like, if that defensive line can get going, that's going to be quite the scary defensive line coming up.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, if we're looking here, like even just at sacks or whatever, I'm just going to compare the 2025 Argos numbers compared to the year prior. Okay, so the Argos in terms of sacks this year were 4th in the league. They had 41 sacks. If we compare that to last year, the Argos, in terms of their, I have to switch it over to sacks again. So they had 41 sacks. The Argos had 48 last year. And not only that, they led the league by 9 sacks. And the next highest team was Ottawa with 39. Like, they were first, and it wasn't close. And so if you're Toronto, I'm not saying the expectation is getting back to that. But if you can get back to something like that, that's very, very good. Like, even if we look here, their rushing defense this year was still pretty good. 105.7 yards per game given up. If we look at last year, interesting kind of fun fact about them this year, a lot better in the running game, defensive-wise. Last year, they only gave up, they would give up, or actually, hold on a second. No, last year they were a lot better because they got 85.1. It was inverted on my screen. That's why it's all screwed up. They were a lot better last year with 85.1 yards given up per game rushing as opposed to this year, which is, I hate how I have to re-put this stuff in. I'm using football database, but as opposed to this year where they had not done nearly as well with 105.7 given up. Again, with only the Ticats below at 111. This is something where Saskatchewan. Hey, what? This is a true fact. All right, but no. I think that this is a great move for Toronto. I'll put it this way: like a guy who gets a sniff of the NFL, like coming over and playing in the CFL. Usually those guys do well. Like when there's a CFL player goes into the NFL, comes back down, gets a stint here. Whether it's Nathan Rourke, who's just absolutely tearing it up, he's this year's MOP and MOC. Whether it is Drew Desjardins, who, despite times having a Red Blacks O-line that has struggled, he's been a rock-solid force in it. And kind of, he's the core of that group. If you look at guys like Ontario Wilson, comes back potentially as catch of the year, depending on if you're a Bomber fan or a Lion fan, you know? If you look at a Joe, though not kind of putting up some of the crazy highlight reels that Ontario Wilson is, Joe is a respectable receiver in this league and is an addition to any team that he joins. So Matthew Betts comes back, still a force on the BC Lions. So guys that go up and get that chance, even then when they come back, they went up for a reason. You know what I mean? And so I think the Argos being able to bring that in, bring that back, I should say, is really key in kind of getting this team on the right track. So, what do you think, Rick? Anything else?
Not really.
Not really? Yeah, well, I think we pretty much got it there.
Not looking forward to seeing that defensive line, that's all.
You're just like, you know, I'm a Hamilton fan. I don't need this team to get better. So, fair enough. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, share it around, and subscribe if you have not already. And then also, if you haven't, make sure you guys join the Discord. Link in the description below as we discuss CFL, NHL, all sorts of sports stuff. Would appreciate seeing you guys over there and keep the conversation going. So, peace, love, and positivity, all you wonderful people at home. We'll see you guys next time.